everybody here was an adolescent
Yeah.
once, even women, and
true. I'm with you so far.
and so like you know how you know how unromantic children are. They're
True.
not. They're not romancers.
No.
So like, I don't understand. That's the thing about pedophilia that I don't.
You know what?
That I don't get.
I think
comment below if you found the segue.
Yeah. I don't think
yeah.
You're not a pedophile. It's not romantic. Yeah.
Well, because I think that's what stops me mostly is the lack of romance.
Good. I mean, whatever your reasons for not fine. I mean, I think it is. I think you're just not attracted to children, and you don't need a real reason. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't like kids.
What can
you
don't
have to defend yourself.
Yeah.
What does QAnon stand for? Does it stand for something? Is it like an abbreviation?
It is. Yes, it's an anonymous, or it's an anon from a chat board that are all anons. But the Q references their supposed level of clearance. They have Q level clearance in the government, which I'm not even sure that is a real thing. It's individuals who are known as Q. They have Q level clearance.
Is this just because there's a character in James Bond called Q?
Probably. I mean, can I say definitively that's where they took it? No, but that sounds like a pretty good idea why they took it.
Right.
I mean, it's all made up. So it could come from anywhere. They could just it's bananas. I mean, some of the things that it's a person putting out essentially as inane and innocuous kind of like things on a message board that are like horoscopes. They're just, you can read whatever you want into them.
Right. So they're written in that way.
Yeah.
Where the reader can infer whatever they want to infer.
Yes.
Okay.
And they can be like, a lot of them say like, where we go one, we go all. I don't know what that means. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, it feels like a rallying cry. Where we go one, we go all. One forever, one for all, and all for one. Like the
Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Musketeers.
Yeah. Like when I used to get announced on doing comedy, I would tell people, say, Derek is Chicago's best kept secret. Doesn't really mean anything. It's not a title. It doesn't. What's the best part of it? Is it how good the secret's being kept? I felt like that a lot of the time. But yes.
Wait, so like, for example, so because QAnon to me, like, because I genuinely, to me, it's one of these terms that I hear like alt-right or
right. Exactly.
I don't know, like any one of these other buzzwords. Pizzagate is another one where it's like, I'm sure, because I don't know, this is just my disposition, that there is at least a modicum of truth at their inception.
No.
But I don't know what they mean now. Like, it just feels like it's just a label that can be slapped on anything.
Right. Pizzagate, there is no truth to it whatsoever. And
okay,
are they part of QAnon? I need clarity.
There is kind of a merging there of the.
Sounds like there's an overlap.
Is it like the Marvel multiverse, like where it's like a bunch of different? You know what I mean?
It is direct. Okay, QAnon has direct Q level clearance. Apparently, is a real thing, and you have access to all documents, everything. But then, Pizzagate was this idea that Comet Ping Pong It's a pizza place in DC that has ping pong and you can get pizza.
Yeah.
That they had a basement that they were storing children for, to drink the blood of children and abuse them. And funny thing, there's no basement. There is no basement at this place.
So what
at
was
all.
the issue?
And
Yeah.
there is no place to keep children.
Okay.
Honestly, running a business is hard enough. Like trying to wedge in a secret sex dungeon that you murder children in. Also, where this all comes from. You know what? I was listening to a fucking great podcast about satanic panics, which this feels a lot like.
Wait, what is satanic panic?
Like, okay,
that sounds like a really fun band from like the late 90s.
Yes, okay.
Satanic Panic,
yeah. In the late 90s, 80s and 90s, that was a big thing. It was, well, there are all these devil worshipping child killers. I mean, they kill children.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. And it would they would say, these are Satan worshipers and they're going to kill your children. And reality is that we were finding out, coming out of the 70s, we were doing all these like x-rays and stuff, and we were finding that children are being abused. And we're like, oh no, are they sick? Why do they have all these broken bones? And then you realize, oh no, their parents are beating them because people are trash and they fucking hurt children. But that's a bad idea.
What did the kids do? What did the kids do?
I mean,
my question.
Well, I mean, he got a D, and so you got to break his leg. I mean, obviously.
I mean, I grew up in an Asian household, so yeah, like
just gotta
really
fucking hit him.
Yeah,
so Pizzagate, from what I know. Sorry to keep cutting you off. Just it's like this is like a rolling boil of what the fuck.
Yeah.
So like Pizzagate, I thought was like pizza was being used as like a code word,
right?
So like, I'd like a pizza in my room in an hour, which meant, and if it was like pepperoni, that meant like a blonde child,
right?
And you could request
Jesus Christ,
like which one you wanted to your room, and it was like mail order,
right? Yeah, what they did is they went through emails that had been released, and they found food orders, and they were like, well, it's not really food. Why would this guy who puts together events? Why would he ever order food? He's obviously ordering children to.
But now, look, just to play devil's advocate here, what kind of sicko orders food by email?
Well, a lot of
who has ever ordered food by email? To whom it may concern.
Oh no, it's somebody like telling your assistant, "Oh, we're gonna have a party tonight, so you should get a bunch of pizzas. You handle that. I'm a businessman, or I have a job, and I'm not going to be, calling up and getting pizzas because, listen, if you have money, you can get an assistant, and that's what I do. I'm an assistant. Yeah. I'm the kind of person that goes and gets pizza or makes pizza. But also, why would you be? Here's devil's advocate. Why would you be sending your child sex orders through the email? Yeah.
Well, because you think that pizza is a good cover story, because apparently, news to Ben, everyone orders fast food via email.
They do.
Well, if you have an assistant, you just you shoot your assistant an email. Hey, I need 30 pizzas for a party,
and then
somebody read that.
You know what I mean?
There is not but that's the thing is, I think what the real crux, this is my thought, is that there are people that want to do things that people don't want them to do, like, tax companies. And some people are like, that's such a bad idea, you should never do that. But it's hard to say that and feel like the good guy. So what you do is you say, well, I don't want to do anything those child-killing pedophiles that worship Satan want to do. And then you can just write everything off indefinite. It's like, I want to pay for Medicare and Social Security. And they're like, I just don't want to do it. You're a child-killing pedophile. So obviously I can't side with you.
But the stakes aren't even that high. Like I don't think you have to be a child killing pedophile. You just have to irritate me. Like I've said this before to Ben. Like the quickest way to make me anti-religious is for you to be super religious, and to be like annoying about it. I'll be like, you could be like, man, Christ is everything. I'll be like, what he represents, and then as soon as you switch and go like, actually, I don't really believe in religion. I'm like, well, why? Because and you don't believe in God, like, like. You know what I mean?
Were you scared? Scared?
Yeah.
I had a guy say that. But then, you scared? You scared of God?
That's very funny.
Well, I mean,
but then the idea of like, for example, I do think there is an element of truth to when somebody like when Tate, for example, spoke about karmic retribution and about how the like, look, I'm new to the world of Satanism.
Okay.
So this idea that the Satanists believe that they need to tell you what they're going to do.
Oh yes, I've heard of this. That's part of the detailed law that is in the.
So they tell you, they have to tell you what they're going to do to you,
and you have to agree.
So
to
then
it.
It's your fault if you don't do anything about it. Now does that not check out on like some psychological level? Because it does to me. Like the idea that if I'm a bad, sordid guy and I want to do you harm, I can make myself feel better by going, this is exactly what I'm going to do. And then when I do it, it's like, well, you didn't do anything. Yeah. So I mean, got to take the rough with the smooth here, kiddo.
It feels like
take
that.
The rough with the smooth here, kiddo, is crazy. Is crazy choice of
as
words.
I say, I don't know if that's how Satanists speak. No, I'm new to this. I haven't been to the Grammys. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
All I'll say is this: it's an interesting segue from pedophilia.
Right.
So you say interesting, I say necessary. We have different words for different things, you know.
I mean, okay. First of all, it's there is no. We don't have to devil's advocate that Satanists are doing this unless you have any evidence that they're doing it. We can start there. Let's just start with, we know people are complaining about Satanists because my theory is they don't like the idea that children are being abused. And so they say, who would abuse children? And the answer is people, just regular ass people fucking hit kids. And they would say, well, it's obviously a bad person. That would be a Satanist.
No, it's not a bad person. They might be Asian or my mother.
This is the mind of the person who's throwing around, Satan worshiping cabal all the time.
Fair.
It's very similar to the people that like to say they like to throw around the word like globalist or Zionist when they mean Jewish people, and they hate Jewish people, which is fucking bananas.
Do you think that's always true? I don't think that's always true.
I mean,
I don't think that's a universal.
Yeah,
I think like I do, because for example, I do believe you're absolutely right. Okay, you should not. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I 100%.
I'm with.
But
you. Okay,
the idea that you can have a suspicion with no evidence, I don't think that completely invalidates the suspicion, because.
What do you mean suspicion? What do you mean suspicion? Zionists just like here's the thing. Zionists, first off, the word Zionist.
Oh, sorry, I should specify. I was still talking about like the pedo rings.
Okay, okay. My bad.
I wasn't necessarily talking about the globalists, but then kind of, right? So it's like I, as a normal citizen of no particular merit or intrigue, I have no express evidence that my government is inherently evil. I don't have any documents.
Right.
I don't have any material. I have a very good suspicion that they don't have my best interests at heart because of everything they're doing.
Right.
But that isn't, I don't have anything that I can actively point to and go, oh yeah, this thing here is the thing. This is the golden scroll that has them banged to rights. That's what I don't have. But like, I don't know, man.
I mean, you can here in the U.S. You can in the U.S. There's so many things. We just don't know our history so well. It's just like, hey, here's the
here's Operation Paul Bunyan, which helped to increase, tensions between North and South Korea. Hey, here's the New York Times fabricating news in order to incite the Spanish War in the late night. So there's things you could find. It's just, I don't know. It's just most people I feel like don't know about it.
But because we're in a war of subtext, so like, for example, in the UK, there's the whole thing with conversion therapy. Now, this is the same thing in the US, which is conversion therapy is now defined by not converting people. So if your child believes that they are trans and you say, oh, no, you're now doing the conversion therapy. And that is to be banned in this country, and it would give the state power to take, sanction you or take your child away from you in extreme cases. Or maybe not so extreme. Who knows what the future holds? But so for example, with that, like the all the stuff that is kind of written, all the evidence that I would have access to says that the messaging is clear that this is for the benefit of the children, and this is for the good of their health and their well-being. And then I can then read that and go, no, it isn't. You're trying to punish parents who don't subscribe to your ideological worldview.
Oh, right.
But is that the same as I mean, again, it's not the same as like, there are pedophiles at this pizza place. Right. Like, I feel like that one we can probably.
You're right.
Assume.
Right. Okay. I've gone down. Look, admittedly, I've gone down on a tangent here.
Yeah.
I mean, in those circumstances, that is. But on this, okay, I feel like it always helps to when we do the like when we try to like abstract it. It's nice to put the things back in to make it seem like I want a child to kill and drink its blood.
Yes.
You're like, I don't
or have sex with it, I guess.
I don't
or have fun
think
times.
Anybody sent that email under their government issued email. like their official email.
Who wants to have sex with children? Like, let's be honest.
Pedophiles.
Let's get into, like, here's the thing. Let's get into it.
I'm not into it. I'm gonna stay out of it.
I just feel like
I'm very nervous.
Because, like, here's the thing. Like, everybody here was an adolescent once. Even women. And
true. I'm with you so far.
And so like, you know how unromantic children are. They're
True.
not. They're not romancers. No. So, like, I don't understand. That's the thing about pedophilia that I don't.
You know what?
That I don't get.
I think
comment below if you found the segue.
Yeah. I don't think you're not a pedophile. It's not romantic. Yeah.
Well, because I think that's what stops me mostly is the lack of romance.
Good. I mean, whatever your reasons for not fine. I mean, I think it is. I think you're just not attracted to children, and you don't need a real reason. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't like kids.
What can
you
don't
have to defend yourself.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we're out on a romantic dinner. And she's noticed nothing, none of what I've done.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
To prepare this whole fucking evening for her. I might as well date an adult woman. It's the same thing. So,
not the same thing. It's not the same.
She just doesn't. I've worked so hard that whole night to make things look good for Valentine's Day. And for some of you who are listening, you're like, I feel like this isn't about pedophilia. Yeah. I feel like this is about Basil's Valentine's Day. And like, that might be true. But like,
what you're getting at,
my point is
the lack appreciation. Children don't.
Right.
Children are bad at appreciating. You shouldn't have kids if you can't deal with them not appreciating you, which they won't.
Yeah. Correct.
Until you're gone, and then what does it matter? You're dead, and they're like, "Oh, he was so good to me."
At least
they cry at your funeral.
What are we talking about? What the fuck are we talking about?
At least, Ben. At least some women have the capacity to be very appreciative of the things you do for them on Valentine's Day. But a kid's just going to be like, I want cotton candy, right? And it's like, we didn't come to this fucking,
from this, we've concluded that pedophiles don't celebrate Valentine's Day.
Well, I just feel like it's very challenging for them. Or at least I would find it challenging. Like Valentine's Day is
among
hard
other
enough.
things. Yeah, it is one of the many things that's challenging for them. No, you're right. You're Jesus Christ.
You're not wrong. I mean,
no, you're certainly not wrong. Oh my God, I think I'm asthmatic now. Jesus, that has absolutely sent me.
You guys have been in love before as youths. You guys probably know what I'm talking about.
When you're a kid, when you're in your youth, you want to celebrate Valentine's Day with your girlfriend or boyfriend because you don't know anything. And so you feel obliged to express your love and affection somehow. And so Valentine's Day is your one day of the year where you can do that. And it's also the one day of the year where you can basically outwardly go, holy shit, I actually got one. I managed to secure a relationship. Can you believe this? Like when that first happens in your life, that is quite the revelatory moment. Yeah. And then you go like, oh yeah, let's go to... and then also your kids, so you got no money, so you might go to a chain restaurant like a TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
But you really appreciate that at the time. And then will come the inevitable moment where you do something to horrifically embarrass yourself in front of your crush or in front of your female interest. I feel like this is something, I don't know, I'm sure this does happen with, I feel this is far more of a male dominant problem of embarrassing yourself invariably through trying to show feats of strength, or overt masculinity, and it just backfiring
What's
horribly.
That now?
Just embarrassing. I love that. I love guys trying to do fucking things. They're like,
right,
I'm gonna check this out. I'm gonna really impress her with this,
and
it's
then
not
just absolutely ruining it.
Yeah,
just ruining it.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, I had a buddy who was with his girl on the sofa, and she was on the top and he was on the bottom, and they were fully clothed at this point in proceedings. And then he was like, in his brain, he was like, obviously what I'm going to do now, because I'm absolutely jacked because I've got a girl on top of me, is I'm gonna pull the old switcheroo, and I'm gonna end up on top and she's gonna end up on the bottom, but I'm gonna spin her so fast she's not gonna even know what's happened.
Right.
So then move activated, head off the cast iron wood burning stove, and then the next 2 hours are spent with him bringing her ice to put on the swelling. And then the funny bit about it was he's like, she's obviously still like scantily clad because of what was happening before. And he didn't feel like he could get dressed because he felt like that would look bad, like sort of disappearing while she just sort of sat on the step with a swollen head. And so he's there half naked for no real reason other than oddly placed courtesy, but it kind of makes sense.
Was he able to keep it up the whole time, or
stop fucking laughing? Answer the man's question.
I didn't ask. Yeah. Weirdly enough, I didn't ask. I didn't ask this question.
I'm curious. And I don't even know which was the good one. If he's like, erection immediate, just fucking went limp, or he just kept it up And it slowly went down as he realized it was, we're probably not going to do
as
this.
it was definitely off the cards now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just more and more.
Like a what?
Oh, yeah.
But like, have you got any examples like that?
Yes. I've got some. Of course. Well, there's one time I was with somebody, and I was, we were fooling around, and I was like, "You want to do it?" And she was like, "Do you love me?" And I had roughly 3 bottles of champagne leading up to this, and then my response was, I thought in my brain, this will be very funny, which is that's not a good way to start your sentence. I just said, if I loved you, I'd marry you. And then she started crying, and I was like, I'm gonna throw up. And so I got up out of bed and I went to the bathroom, and the door was locked from the inside, and I grabbed the handle and I just twisted it because I wanted it to open as much as possible, and broke it. I just broke the door. So then she's still crying, and I put on pants, and I went out to my friends who were in the living room, and I was like, I broke the door. She's crying. I'm very drunk. And then they came in, and they were trying to fix the door, and I found some pepper spray, and I was like, I wonder what this spray will be like. And so I was just going to squirt a little in my hand, like, like a perfume.
Derek, what's wrong with you?
So I sprayed it, and it comes out, and it is all over the room, and everybody's eyes are watering, and they're like, what is that? I was like, you guys are such babies. It's right next to me. So then they made me go and sit in the kitchen alone. It's because they didn't want me to be around. And then I ate like a box of frozen waffles. Yeah. Because we still hadn't gotten to the bathroom, and we needed a sink to wash my hand off. And so then I just sat on the floor, and I ate a bunch of frozen Eggo waffles, still frozen. Didn't know where the toaster was. I just ate them. And that's kind of where I stop remembering things. I don't think I went back to bed. But I think that qualifies. I showed my strength.
That qualifies.
I was trying to be impressive. I wanted to be funny, and did not work. It's funny now. I'm sorry for it. I apologize for that.
I just this is why I'm just like, let me just take care of the business shit, man, and you just do everything else. And
holy fuck,
Jesus, I need somebody to take care of me.
Yep, you and me both, brother. We both need someone to take. Yeah, Jesus.
Anybody else got a story?
Yeah, I mean, I did, but not now. Like, my story is like, I do like a sport that's very close to my heart, and something that I've enjoyed doing for most of my life is judo. And when I was with my first girlfriend, she was saying like, "Oh, you should go and do some judo on me."
Oh.
And then I should have been like, no, because I should have been like, no, because that's never gonna go right.
Right.
But I didn't do that. I was like, oh, fucking, this is what I've been waiting my whole life for. And then
why?
And then I then like went to throw her onto the bed, like a sort of judo technique onto the bed, and it went really well. And then I saw her heel heading for my solid oak bed frame, and it just smashed off the bed frame. And then I'm there like, oh no, that was not what I had in my mind.
Yeah. You're like, this is why judo has nothing around, no furniture. It's just a mat in an empty room.
But in my mind, it was just going to be a playful little, like, rather than just throwing you onto the bed like any old noob can do, I'm going to throw you onto the bed like with panache.
Yeah.
And this technique has a name, and it's Japanese, so I'm going to do that, and it's just going to be like a little what? Oh, she's on the bed. Look at that. Look how strong and effortless I am. And then it was again like oh no, now you have fucking Violet Beauregard's heel because it's bright blue and slowly inflating.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was bad.
I mean, with the way you're talking about it, you might have like cracked her heel. Like,
right.
It's not a mite, Derek. Derek, it's not a mite.
That's a life-altering injury. If you fuck that up.
Oh, in that case, I know that it was. As far as I'm aware, God, this sounds terrible. What I was about to say in my head. As far as I'm aware.
What you're about to say.
She could still walk. Okay, that's good. I'm with you.
Oh
hey,
God, no! Don't fucking clap that, you dick. That is appallingly. That is just an open goal, isn't it? Oh, man.
You didn't like misery her, like.
Hey, you
know what I mean.
What happened?
Oh, really?
Last night?
You really gave it to her?
Oh
no, that's not what happened.
Know what I mean? Like that is.
It always. Sometimes the sentences come out and they sound weird. Like I was in a cop car one time.
No, that's exactly what happened.
We were getting ready to.
We don't need any further context.
And as we were on the way to the police station to take a breathalyzer, because I appeared very drunk.
What?
I had fallen down while we were doing the field sobriety test. I'd failed it pretty spectacularly, and then I thought I could take a breathalyzer and show that I was legal. I appeared very drunk. I appeared to be over the limit because my eyes were twitchy and I twisted my ankle and fell down. And when I fall, I don't put my arms out because that's how you hurt yourself. You know,
that is true.
Yeah. That's how you break your wrist or you snap something. So I just go into it and I land on my side and so they picked me up immediately and they were like, you can't even stand on. You can't stand on one leg without falling to the ground and not even trying to stop yourself. So as I'm in the car, I said, I blow 0.08, it'll be fine. And they said, that's a DUI. And I said, fine, blow 0.07. And they said, that's a DWI. And I didn't. So then I said, what do I have to blow to go home? And then that's when they started laughing because that sounded like I was trying to suck the dicks of this cops to go home. And they pulled over and laughed for a very long time with me yelling, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
And just like the women crying in public thing, that doesn't help your situation.
No.
Anything like you say now, once that has happened, once you say, what do I have to blow to go home?
Yep.
Now that sentence has left your face, there's nothing else you can say now to address and rectify that situation.
Right. We just have to sit there and then wait for the moment to go away, I guess.
Virginity stories. Now, I only have one of these, and it's really unremarkable.
Well, I think we all have one. You know what? I realize now you can have more than one, just not yours. Yeah. I only have one. But that makes sense. I think I looked at like a version of this growing up, and I just don't think I think virgins very, very astutely said, no, that's not what I want for my first time. I don't want to get fucked by a shaggy dog. I mean,
oh man.
Yeah.
So I feel like I lucked out.
Yeah.
Because
you're very good looking. You look like you would probably be able to be with a virgin.
No, you flattering man. I didn't mean that. I meant because I was in a relationship with somebody who had also never done it before.
Well, that's nice.
Which is really good because you have either you have no expectations, both of you, or your expectations are going to be shattered together.
Yeah.
Which is equally character building.
Yeah, trauma bonding.
I don't know. Like, I think my story is really quite unremarkable.
Okay.
Because it was just we hung out at the weekend like we normally would do, and she turned to me and said, and we were like, to use your expression, because I like that expression, we were fooling around.
Yeah.
And she just turned around to me and went, "Would you like to try it?" And I went, "What?" And she goes, "You know, would you like to try it?" And then I did know what she meant, and I immediately, because of nerves, lost the erection I up until that point had. And so then now I'm proud to say I got it back.
Yeah.
Got it back and kind of did it. And then that really is the story. Like, it's really not good. And then in my mind, I lasted many minutes.
Right.
When in reality, it was probably one.
Right.
And then I was just so paranoid because I'd experienced sex education at school, which of course just tells you that this will kill you. And so it is no word of a lie to say that afterwards I took the condom and I filled it up with water to check for leaks. I genuinely did that because I was that concerned, because the way they teach you about semen in school is that it's got a radioactive half-life of 400,000 years.
Yes.
And so if it gets anywhere near anything that even vaguely resembles a vagina, you're going to have a child.
Yeah.
And your life is going to be over.
Right.
And so because of that, I was so paranoid that I washed it out and held it up to the light to like look for leaks to see if that, because in my mind latex could be, maybe it was porous.
Yeah,
that might have been a thing.
It could.
We don't know. And like that was basically it. I think a remarkably unnoteworthy experience. Just a very paranoid young man, to the point where he probably made what could have been a decent experience worse. But then it just kind of leads me into thinking, like, because now I watch, like, for example, I recently rewatched Sex Education, the series on Netflix.
Yeah.
Because I find it quite entertaining. And but they're all like supposed to be like 16 and 17, right?
Yeah.
And they're in there and they're talking about like fetish and, oh, I'm really into like nipple play, and oh, I'm really into alien role play. So get fucked. No, you're not. You're 16 and 17. You have no idea what you're into, no idea what you like. You just guess. You're just happy to be there. If you're a bloke, you're just happy for the opportunity to try. Like, you don't really, like, no man is at that age, no boy, man, adolescent has ever questioned anything, ever second guessed. No one's ever gone, maybe I'm not into, maybe I'm not into this. Maybe
I never thought about it, but maybe I'll try it.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
No one's ever gone, oh, no, I don't think that'd be my thing. Like, this idea that these teenagers in this show are so sure of their sexual preferences and like what they want out of a sexual experience is just the only people that is going to convince are people that are younger than 16 and 17.
Right.
Because anyone that has lived through that period of your life is going to go, no, you have no idea what you're doing. You just try something, and if she does give you instructions, the last thing you're going to do is follow them, because the moment she expresses any pleasure, that you're overexcited and it's game over. The moment she says,
right there on that spot, I wanted to fucking, oh, you liked it? Fucking like that? And you're like, no, don't do it like that.
No, but I also mean, if she goes like, oh my, like if she's saying like, oh my God, just like that, you're there, like, I don't know, but my brain as in that period would go like, oh my God, she's liking it. system overload.
Better start doing it more and harder.
No, see, for me, it was like, no. I would never get to doing it the more and harder.
Oh, you're just saying, she's like, I like that. And you're like, fuck yeah. Accomplished.
Yeah. No, like something in my brain would go like, oh my God, we have had confirmation of enjoyment. This is far too overwhelming. Yeah. Oh no, it's game over. Yeah. Look what's happened. We've turned both the keys and the missile's launched.
Yeah, you shouldn't. That was my word. That was the word. I like.
Yeah, it's like, look. I wasn't there at the time going, maybe I just have a thing for words of affirmation. I wasn't doing that shit. No. I was 17. Yeah. I was just amazed that I was actually naked with another human who was also naked and willing. I couldn't believe that actually happened.
Right. I guess they leave that part out. It's like, well, obviously people have sex. And you're like, they leave out all the fucking pain and torture that happens to make it happen. Because we only have 30 minutes. We're just going to skip over the part. They start a business and they make money. We're just going to skip all the rest of the parts where they lose everything.
Yeah.
I love the fucking I've talked to a lot of ladies that are like, what is with the guys when they say just like that and they think do it harder and that is not like that. Yeah, every time. Fucking, oh, you like it? Fucking right there, huh? And you're like, no, not like that at all. In fact, if you had stayed doing what you were doing, it was good. Now, nothing is going to bring this back. You fucked it all up.
Well, it's the only time where a woman will tell you exactly what they mean.
Yeah.
And so because of that, because of your past experience, you then go, I need to read between the lines here. When no, in that situation, no, you don't. No. You just do exactly what they've told you to do.
She said, do that. Exactly that. Listen, you got to listen. I think sex is a lot about communication. Like you were talking about with your friend. He's on the couch. Don't need to tell her. We're going to roll. She would have said, hold on, let me get closer to you. So when you spin, I don't fucking slam off the goddamn thing. You know? It's like sex is a lot like moving a TV. It's like, hey, I'm going up.
We need to know. We need to know each other.
If we,
You can't move a TV with a stranger. No.
It's basically just back the fucking get back and yell at me if I'm gonna hit something.
Wait, so go on then. What was your one story? Because we've only got one each.
I mean, mine was. I'm gonna guess mine happened a lot later. I was like 21, I think. And well, I had the awkward problem of having, after we had done it, to say I've never done that before, because we were not in a relationship at the time, and I was like, no, never done that. And she said, that position? And I said, well, yeah, that too. But any of them, it's my first. Was it okay? And I took that as a sign that she's like, oh, well, he's done this before. But no, just
there's definitely an embedded compliment.
Yeah, furious studying, just making sure. I'm a big fucking idiot. I was always worried. I think everybody gets worried about shit. You were talking about you were worried, and it ruined. It made it.
Oh, you get so in your own head.
Being an adolescent, I realized it was. You worry about things because you're. That's why you need a mentor to help you.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, sometimes mentors are fucking shit because they grew up in a situation that just doesn't apply at all. Like, do you have people that are like, just be confident? You're like, I don't think.
Well,
that's
it. Like, right. It's like that's as good as saying, "Oh, you're nervous." Oh, don't be.
Don't.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Yeah, man. I don't know, like, because what's crazy is, I don't know, like, I was definitely an innocent kid for a long time. Like, like now I look back at the stories from my school of the kids who at the time it was like, oh, did you hear about him? He lost his virginity when he was 13. And at the time you're like, wow, that's a man. And now I look back and I'm like, what happened in your upbringing that led you to take such a drastic step?
Yeah.
Why? That's not healthy. That's not good. That's not what a 13-year-old should be doing. That's what was it with another 13-year-old? I don't know whether that's better or worse.
Yeah. I had a friend that I have two friends that had the same story, and they're like, oh yeah, it was somebody, it was a sister's friend that was 18 and I was 13, and I was like, that means you were sexually molested as a 13-year-old. Like, no, it wasn't. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I was like, it doesn't really matter.
That unfortunately, that's an irrelevant detail at the moment.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. It's so strange because it's like looking back at the time, it was like, oh my God, I'm so far behind. And now I'm there going like, if I lost my virginity yesterday, that still would have been fine.
Yep.
It was like, I remember meeting this. There's a really close friend of mine, right? And I remember meeting him. And I worked with him after I graduated, and he was just this really cool guy. He's about 4 or 5 years older than me, and he's still a really close friend of mine right now. Maybe this is because I went to an all-boys school,
okay,
which really ramps up the oh my God, I need to prove to everyone that I have capacity with women, so I need to hurry up and do this.
Yeah,
and that of course means that it takes you longer than if you weren't like that. But then, so I'm with this, I'm chatting to this friend of mine, and he's a really cool guy, like really easygoing, just a really chill person. And he'd been to university, and then he'd been on like a 2-year tour of like Australia and New Zealand. And because he was so easygoing, I was like, oh, you must be one of these guys that has girls throwing themselves at you. And then I don't know how we got onto it, but we got onto, I don't know how many people we'd been with, and I was like, oh, what about you, man? Like you know, and because he was older than me, and because he'd had all this experience, like of traveling and going to all these places, I was like, yeah, you must have been different girl in every city kind of guy. And he was like, oh, like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then I was there going like, oh, well, oh, sorry, I don't know whether this makes me look like a weirdo, but I'm kind of surprised by that number.
Right.
That I assumed it'd be more. And he was like, yeah, I've just never really cared. And I was there at 22 going like, oh my God, that's an option.
Yeah.
Like you cannot care.
Yeah.
That's a choice that you can actually make, is to not care. Why did nobody tell me this?
Exactly. People could have said, oh, you could also travel the world and do all these things that your friend did. And he's like, yeah, that's what I focused on mostly.
Yeah.
It's hard to, go out and meet a girl when I'm trying to plan a trip to another country that's a big fucking plane right away.
Yeah. But it was also just like, it was just this idea that like, yeah, it's just never really been something that I've been bothered by. And I'm just thinking, you're like Yoda. What do I remember genuinely, I was sitting there like, this man is living on a different level of existence. This ability to not care.
Yeah.
And like, just everyone else is worried about this one thing, and he's just there going like, no, don't really. Yeah.
Right. I
can't, because I'm there going, what mind tricks did you have to learn to be able to do that? To be able to just, for somebody to go like, you really need to care about this thing that we all care about, and to just go, no, not me.
Yeah, it's not my thing. Don't like it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you grew up in Europe, and it'd just be somebody saying like, football, not into it, never really.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what it's like. It's just like somebody just having the balls to stand there and just go, yeah, it's just not for me, man. Like I've never really cared. Like it's just not been something that I've preoccupied myself with. And it just had me like, it was like this sort of like this kind of, I don't know, like that scene in Avatar where it goes through his mind into the mind of the avatar, and it's like me going back to my teenage self, just going like, don't care, don't worry, it doesn't matter. Like you'll get to adulthood and no one gives a shit about any of this.
Nobody will ever ask, and if they do, they're a weirdo, and you should just never fucking talk to them again.
Yeah, exactly. Like only when you're in school. Hey, how far you been with a girl? How far you been with a girl? I'm only second base. Oh, you pussy.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for, man? It's amazing. It's the best thing you'll ever do.
It's so good. Why are you talking to me about it? Why are you?
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, I love eating cucumbers. I have people like, I love eating cucumbers. I say, I don't. And they go, oh, you're wrong. I was like, more for you. I don't want them. You have them. And we're both great. This is one way it works out. I fucking hate when people say, just be yourself. Just, you want to just be yourself? No. What if that assumes that myself is good and that people enjoy that, because I was being myself when I was 18 and that wasn't fucking working. And then I was being myself at 20 and that wasn't fucking working. So what? Maybe I should change and grow and be a better person.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, that opens Pandora's box.
Yeah. You know who was being himself? Hitler. He was being himself. I don't think he was holding it back at all. And that didn't work out. Stalin, I think he was doing exactly what he wanted. Jeffrey Dahmer, being himself. That's what he wanted. That's not for me. So.
I don't have a response.
I don't even know.
Oh, my God. Oh, my brain was going a mile a minute trying to think of something. Holy shit. I was sitting there going, well, maybe, Jeffrey. And I was sitting there going, no, don't even say.
Don't.
No devil's advocate here.
No
devil's advocate here. No. Oh, man.
It's
man. Right. I feel like
life is hard. It's going to be hard. Always hard.
Yeah. And it's also, it's like particularly when you're in your adolescence, you don't know what you should be thinking.
Yeah.
And so you sort of, you put a lot of faith in those around you to let you know what you should be thinking and occupying your time doing. And because you have no reference points.
Yeah.
I think this is why the whole sex education premise of that show, despite the fact that I enjoy the show, annoys me, is because it's like, no, this is not a fair reflection of what that period of your life is like.
Right.
The idea that you would have this one Yoda-like character who's there going, oh, well, come to me and I shall impart the secrets. No,
right.
You like. There's a great bit. I'll put it in. I'll send you a link. It's Tommy Tiernan, who is a Irish comedian, and he is from like the 90s, I believe, and he's on an Irish talk show, and he's talking about how he goes like, wouldn't it be great if fathers could pass on sex wisdom to their sons to make that period of your life easier? Because he says, like, I found out about sex when I was 10. And he talks about this friend, and he goes, this friend was allowed to stay up till 8:30. So we thought he had access to all this adult wisdom. And he's like, and we used to have these meetings around the back of the shed. And he would go, all right, boys, tonight I'm going to teach us about sex. And so first of all, your Mickey goes hard. And then like all the boys are going like, your Mickey goes hard, your Mickey goes hard. And they're passing it around to other mates. And then there's a voice at the back that goes, my Mickey's hard already. And he goes like, you're not supposed to be here, Father Murphy. Go off. And then he goes like, right, anyway, lads, anyway. And then you put it in cider. And then it's like, you put it in cider. Then one lad, oh God, I don't like cider. Can I put it in Fanta? And it's just like,
yeah.
But I love that. The reason why I love that joke is like it's probably grossly hyperbolized, the idea of a kid saying, "Oh, I don't like cider." Yeah. But it's like, no. But the reason why it's funny is like all good jokes, it is ingrained in truth, and so there are kids out there like you don't know what you're supposed to be. Like, I don't know about you, but during my first time, I was kind of thinking like, well, this doesn't, I don't know what I expected it to feel like, but it wasn't this.
Yeah. Different. Like very different.
Like it's, I don't know, like I can't explain it. It's like, I had no frame of reference, but this was not in that lack of frame of reference.
Yeah.
It's this. Is this right? Is this normal? Is it supposed to feel like this? Am I doing well? It doesn't. It's not the euphoria that I was anticipating.
Right.
It's she seems to be in a certain level of discomfort.
Yes.
And I wasn't prepped for that.
Right.
And I don't know what to do. I don't know how to address the problem. And then when it's all done, it's like, oh, is every time going to be like that? Because I don't know if I'm on board if it is. I don't know if this is really going to be my thing if every time is going to be like that.
I mean, yeah, I think my favorite part was maintaining an erection when you're looking into the eyes of somebody who's uncomfortable is tough. You're just like, you don't like the maybe we should. All the doubts start to just come in and be like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Don't make that person do this. You're like, so rough. I think sex education, it works because everybody wanted that guru there.
Right.
What if there was a kid who fucking knew what he was talking about? And the answer is communication. Honest.
Well, the other thing that kind of annoys me is every bit of his advice begins with, "Oh, it's perfectly normal."
Yeah.
Like whatever anyone's experiencing, they go up to him, they go, "I'm experiencing this thing," and he goes, "Oh, it's totally normal."
Yeah, that happens.
And it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah, that's normal. It's gonna happen. I feel like just being told it's normal, that helps.
Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah, like somebody's like, oh, sometimes if I haven't, sometimes when I'm asleep, I ejaculate. And they're like, yep, it'll happen. Oh, okay. Well,
it's like, I remember being a kid at my first school disco, and it was like, I remember seeing a kid kiss a girl for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Mind-blowing moment. How did you do that? What did you say? And then I asked him afterwards, like, how did you do that? And he goes, well, you just kind of put your lips on. It's like, no, I know that bit. I don't mean that. I mean, what did you say to convince another human to do that with you? Because I know, boys, we're gross. Like we're just awful, disgusting creatures. Yeah. But you convinced an angelic girl to do that with you. How? And he's like, oh, you just sort of get talking to them, and then you like, it's just, it's like,
yeah.
And then I got older and I realized, it's to be tall and good looking and athletic, that'll help.
Yeah.
And because he was all of those things.
Yeah. You just be yourself. No, I be you. That's what I do. I just am a different person, and then it will work out. When you say be yourself, you're basically saying, I don't know why it worked. It just worked for me. That's what happened. I just did nothing at all, and it all worked out for me. Awesome.
Yeah, man. I just remember it being, it was so... And nobody kind of... I was the only one dumb enough to externalize my bewilderment. Like now with the benefit of adult retrospect, I can look back and be like, you were all like me.
Yes.
All of us who hadn't kissed a girl at that point were like, holy shit, how did he do that?
Yeah.
That's wizardry right there. But I was the only one innocent and retarded enough to go like, how did you say it out loud? How did you do that? Oh my God. And then he's like, you just kind of like, just chat to them. And then of course, everyone else who hasn't kissed a girl either is then going, Ben, oh my God, you're such a fucking idiot. Like, what do you think you do? And I'm there going, like, I know how to say things, some words, but I don't know how to say them in an order that works to convince a human female to do that with me. And I want that to happen because I'm 12 or 13 or whatever, and I'm seeing it happen to my peers, and I feel left out. I don't know why I feel left out. I don't know what I feel left out about, but I feel like I should do something about it.
You want it.
Yeah.
I want to kiss. Yeah. I feel like that is all the groups. Everybody there's always that one person in school who's like, I don't understand this. And everybody else is just quiet. And there's a lot of people that just say, I'm never going to understand this. And they don't speak up. And then there are people who are like, I don't get it, but I'm too scared to say it because fucking people like your friends will say, you're a fucking idiot. And they will make fun of you. And it's the wonders of people. I hate them so much.
That sounds like a title to a documentary narrated by Derek Smith.
Yeah.
The wonders of.
Well, that was Raisin Bread Podcast, you guys. This was a great episode. If you really want to know about my virginity, you could just hit me up. Me losing my virginity, you can hit me up. Do me a favor. Click on one of the episodes that I'm pointing at and give us a watch. Also, like, subscribe, do the whole shebang. And that's it. That's all we got. Thanks, guys.